see a stream happening right now.
I forgot something.
Oh no.
Chat. Oh.
Oh my god. Can't believe you weren't ready when you told me you were ready.
I meant I was ready to talk about slugs.
Oh, that's okay. That's my bad. The slug course hadn't ended. Discussions of slug have been many and plentiful.
Sometimes you gotta talk about
Sometimes
slugs.
you gotta talk about slugs. Hey, who's gotten any good slug facts? We had
Signed in as
frog
the wrong
facts.
account.
Oh my god, I can't
Sorry.
believe you've done this.
I thought you were on Spruce. I forgot we did creature.
Gotta be on creature because otherwise we'd be starting over, and that I don't
I'll
think
just start from the beginning.
I don't think we should do that. I don't think that should happen.
We were
What?
walking in a church and I was very lost and kinda
Right.
tired and out of it. And then like we kept walking around this church and then I kinda couldn't find an item and just didn't want to be around anymore.
Don't want to be around anymore. I think it should be
There's somewhere, right?
where the paintings were. I don't fucking remember where those are, but there were the paintings that you cut open and got bugged on. As in bugs came out, not as in game glitched. That is very important to specify, especially with this video game. But I think it should have been
glitched a lot.
It has not glitched a whole lot, but it still feels like it's a thing that you should specify, because it wouldn't be surprising if this game glitched.
Probably around the other side, right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It all comes.
Hey, you remember how ridiculous this game is?
It's
I remember.
Filler over the top of everything. It's
always. It's awful.
Right, paintings?
Okay. Is there? I should probably pull up that guide as well, but
could check what things.
Yeah, which ones do we have?
I'm pressing all the buttons.
Oh,
there we go. No?
Okay.
There we go. I have chalice, kneeling man, candle, and tree. Sword or something?
Yeah, hold on a second. Church? You said we have kneeling, candle, chalice.
Yeah, and tree.
Okay, so yeah, it should be the sword that we're missing.
I'm
the
just
woman has nothing inside, and the picture of the tree hides a swarm.
We got all the bugs out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where we are. There should be a gate. Oh, you're going through the gate?
I'm in a gate.
There should be a first aid kit around here and the sword plate. It may be somewhere.
Somewhere. I feel like I've bumped into all the walls and stuff, which oh, there we go.
Hey!
I see how I missed that.
Yeah, it kind of
bud?
blends in.
Yeah, I got a guy. Okay, he's found it.
Great. Oh hey, a Siam will ambush you and break the window.
That's fine. Two sides.
A Siam, if you will.
Whoa. Oh, they thought about me running over and just getting,
And just leaving.
Yeah.
They said, no, you have to stay here.
could not dodge there.
Admittedly, when the Siam started, like, hitting the ground and thumping, I thought some, like, sick metal music was gonna start playing. I have played too much Doom recently. It's what this is telling me.
Kind of like dodge them, or anything. You just kind of stand there and bad things occur.
Yeah. Well, that's one down. That's two down.
I got a bit beat up though.
Yeah.
Why do I have to my like special inventory for? It's fine. I'm gonna be having a good time today.
We can talk about how bad the game is. 'Cause it's a bad game, is the thing. It's not good. They've made some choices that are rough.
Is candle or tree sacrifice? What do you say?
I think tree is sacrifice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And candle is definitely sorrow.
Alright, well, I got kneeling man as penitence. That
makes
right.
sense.
Vengeance, I have the sword.
That tracks.
The other three could be basically anything. Do we desire tree or candle?
I think tree might be desire because it had the depiction of like Adam and Eve and the snake, right?
Oh.
As for sorrow and whatever the other one is. Oh, JK, you got it.
The chalice is sacrifice.
Oh, you know what? No,
the
that makes
candle
sense.
Is sorrow. Oh, it's Dad.
Oh, hi, Bad Dad.
It's Bad Dad.
Hey, everyone, it's Bad Dad. You know, the one that told us we were useless and horrible. And wished we were born. Yeah. Thanks, Bad Dad.
Alex? What are you doing here?
I'm here to save Joshua.
Joshua? You can't save him. You need to get out of here.
No.
Stop giving
No,
me
get
orders,
out of
Dad.
here.
You have no idea what I'm capable of.
We live here now.
You hate me. It's okay. I don't blame you.
I don't hate you. I forgot you. A long time ago.
I never meant to hurt you, son.
What are his teeth doing? Hit the bottom row of teeth.
Oh yeah, they always do that.
Do appear
he's-
to just be like two big teeth.
Yeah, it's just a big lump.
Some of the other ones just looked like really flat. Like it was just like a flat image in their mouth, but oh boy. He's got
What are you talking about?
the alien teeth
These are
from
mine.
Mass Effect, where it's just the one long bar.
Oh, no. Yeah, the Solarians?
I
Or they
think it
just
was the
have one big
Solarians.
I know.
Oh,
Wounded
no. Oh god.
A mental hospital. You've been there ever since the accident.
Since the incident.
The
Not
incident.
true.
It is wild to
I'm a
Alex's
soldier.
teeth are like that too. They literally just made one side of the teeth and then like copy pasted and mirrored
Yeah.
the teeth.
and as long as it's just the top row and like from just the exactly in front of them, it's not obvious. But as soon as they turn the head very
Yeah,
slightly,
it's not great.
yeah.
What is this thing? What did you do? Where's Joshua?
This came out in...
Oh, it's the boy.
Oh, hey, look, it's the Boogeyman. Definitely not Pyramid Head. Very different from Pyramid Head face, though. Oh no, Bad Dad is dead.
Why'd you do that, not Pyramid Head?
Pyramid Head doesn't appreciate bad dad. That's
I was
fair.
talking to my bad dad.
What other games came out in 2008?
Oh, health drink.
Cause like, I have this like...
One like Dead Space 2008? Or
Yes? Yeah.
2007? Yeah, okay.
Dead Space was 2008. Left 4 Dead was 2008.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 4. Metal Gear Solid 4. Mirror's Edge came out. So even by standards of like 2008, this game looked like ass.
I shouldn't have gone over here while all this stuff was killing me, should I?
Maybe not.
We know that now. I didn't see a off button, and it was doing a very small amount of damage at the start. So
I thought it would be fine. It was in fact not fine.
It's not fine. Dead Space is like probably the worst one because it's like a direct, like, competitor, I guess, to the same.
Yeah, I guess I'm just like same sort of genre. I guess I'm just like trying to think of like generally like what did games in 2008 look like, and like I mean they definitely dated by today's standards, but
I think Dead Space like holds up today fine.
Dead Space holds up very well.
Left 4 Dead is about as close to perfect as like a game can get. Like just all the systems are like I'm not a big fan of Grand Theft Auto 4, but in terms of like it was a huge leap in terms of the technology for making games.
No, definitely. I guess it's just baffling. Devil May Cry 4 came out in 2008. It's just wild that this game looks like this when all these other games came out and looked fine and still pretty much look fine.
It does look really bad, and the filter they put over the top so you couldn't tell how bad it looks makes it so much worse.
Right? Oh, goodness.
Cool.
Oh, hey, it's Clint? Clive? Cletus?
Man who won't give us a shotgun. Well, let's have a pistol.
Good job, soldier.
Yeah.
I
Why does his hand look like that? Oh my god. Sir?
His hand's AI generated.
It's been mummified. It's like a completely different color than the rest of him. Why does it look like that?
It just kind of comes bending out. What?
It's horrible when it wiggles.
Where is your wrist, sir?
It is about
How many of those have you got?
2 inches down from where it should be.
I genuinely didn't hear what he said because I was he's gonna hit you on the head when you go out of the lift.
Oh, absolutely.
Who knew?
He didn't
Who
even
knew
hit
that
you
would
on
happen? No, he just
smacked you in
laughed.
the middle of the back. Just patted you a little too hard.
soldier.
I was fully looking at his messed up hand that whole cutscene.
Yeah, no, that is fair. It was bad. Cletus, why it looked that way? I don't know if that's his name. It was the CL name.
It was
Never
something
mind,
like-
it's Curtis. I just looked it
Fucking
up.
up. Most of the same sounds are in there. Oh, it's like the stat.
Oh.
So we're not on a gurney, we just kind of dragged along the floor.
He heard you had an itch on your back, and he wanted to help.
Judge Holloway.
Oh yeah, this lady.
You should probably call me Margaret.
With the weird
You're so great.
Don't remember.
hair.
Wait, maybe?
Found Elle, but
She's
know.
Elle's mom?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got her and her mom. I thought they were the same character.
Fair? They look very similar.
So hard to raise a child.
This is
To instill
mom.
your values into her. You want her to be a
Parentheses.
person,
Bad.
but you hope she'll
Bad
always
mom.
remember
It's
what's
just bad moms and bad dads all the way down.
Yeah. This is where they send all the bad moms. Why were his eyes black? Why did he turn into a demon?
I have noticed that happening as well. Sometimes it's red, depending on like the lighting.
Oh god.
That's why I sacrificed my daughter.
What?
He's-
It's just void.
Oh my God.
They had good intentions.
Oh, I
They
hate
left
it.
the order to start a new life in Shepherd's Glen. Where they feared
Well, there's a
wrath,
glowing knife over there, so that might come in.
so they made a pact
Important,
was safe.
What do you
All
mean?
that was required.
Oh, she's doing it too now.
Sacrifice. Our children.
Yes, she has eyes.
They were gone for
Not just black.
Once every
0.1 of a second.
founding
I missed it.
fathers to appease the gods.
It's fine.
One of our children, our own flesh and blood, struck down by our own hands. I did what was required.
Okay.
I watched the light fade from Nora's eyes as I took
We keep seeing through her
family.
hands.
Protect Shepherd's
Josh.
Glen.
Oh
No,
no.
Alex. One of us failed. Lacked the strength to fulfill his duty. Your father.
I
Where's
mean,
Joshua?
it's
Don't you see? Because of him, our sacrifices were in vain. The pact with our God was broken. Your father's lack of conviction cursed us all.
Yeah, it's not exactly.
Divine order, which
I don't think it
found
was their
abandoned.
god.
There's many things wrong with what was said.
Kidnapping?
Yeah.
By murdering?
Where do we
I-
start?
Murdering, I've given him life.
I hate. Oh,
And what about Elle? You gonna kill her too?
just like
I've tried
it don't make sense that like everyone in the whole town gets kidnapped and all the
She still thinks there is
like
such
every
things.
family in town's killing one of the kids. It's just like so much, and it's so unnecessary, and it's so silly.
There, it is unfortunate because there could be a story here where it's like, you know, the town across the lake from Silent Hill is inadvertently affected by all the weird cult shit they were doing. But to be like, yeah, they
Yeah.
were complicit in this, and also were just murdering children all the
They were
time
doing
for
way
no reason.
stuff. And like all for Silent Hill, because Silent Hill's where it's at. Everyone's talking about Silent Hill all the time. That's where Pyramid Head lives.
It's a weird choice, and it's not. I think there may be a quick time coming up.
Yeah, I think so too.
Hey.
It feels so
I can't
big.
deal with all this. There must be another way.
I mean,
And they end on that! They would fucking turbo murder him.
What your father could.
man, that's not gonna kill him.
Do I do it? Oh, you press A.
I like how Alex is still screaming even though his mouth wasn't open. Magic.
Whoa, he's gonna get whisked.
Not the whisk. Oh. Oh. Isn't this so tense?
I press X quite a lot of times.
She got whisked.
She did.
What a shame.
I guess we...
Bitch!
That's all you got to say about this situation. Oh, it's kind of like a Silent Hill map.
Oh, kinda. Akin to one.
Yeah, it's the same kind of shape.
You're
Alright, I only have my special knife, and I might need to eat a health drink. Yeah, we're fine.
fine.
I can't really remember how to do the fighting, so you know, this could be a problem.
To be fair, I think that was the case every time we came back to this game.
Yeah,
Just because
that's
it's
true.
so nonsense.
It's just like, oh,
I think the main things to remember is that the dodge doesn't actually work. And
You
most
need it,
things
but it
can block
doesn't.
bullets.
oh yeah, lots of things just block bullets and shotgun bullets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there's a guy in there. Oh,
Oh yeah, we have just like fully given up on monsters now, huh? And are just killing dudes. So dark. Oh my god.
sorry.
No,
I
it's
got it.
fine. How did you see anything?
I could kinda like see some of the colors. And I could see when like blood was coming out.
My god.
Dang. Oh,
Oh wow, sir. Aw, jeez.
yeah, it's not going well.
Oh,
He's just
oh,
comboing there.
oh. Pretty, I'm scared.
It's fine. You just
Oh.
do the spin around.
There was so little health there, though.
Yeah, he really bopped me.
Oh my goodness.
Found a gun.
Oh,
I thought they were a health thing. It was not a health thing.
hey.
I remember all the guns being pretty drastically powerful in this one.
Yeah, if you could land a shot.
Yeah, if they don't block, which they normally do.
If you can hit them, it's pretty good.
If you hit them and they don't go, no,
No, I'm fine.
I don't know where I'm going in particular, but normally just walking in a straight line works in this game.
Yeah.
It's not like a proper. I don't know. I feel like the hotel, like I know that's one of the first places that really annoyed you, just because Pyramid Head showed up there. So dark here.
Yeah. It's one of the like few places that isn't just like super straightforward. But that's only because there's so much like backtracking. There aren't that
Yeah.
many places you can go there, but it is a lot of go to the one side of the hotel, now go back to the other side of the hotel, now go back to the other side of the hotel.
I'm just pressing the button 3 times and then pressing X and it's working.
What riveting gameplay.
I think I was meant to shoot them, but I had the wrong thing out.
Ops.
Ops. It kind of worked. And this one's locked, right? Nope.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna do this way first. Because I want to cross off the bottom part of the map.
Fair.
Actually, this looks locked as hell. Never mind.
JK.
I liked the like going up and down through the like collapsed floors and
Oh?
sorry, in the hotel.
Yeah. You liked
Yeah.
that?
I mean, I thought that if it were like better, could have been neat. If everything was better, that'd have been fun.
If they made it good, that could have been enjoyable. I mean, I guess I can like see it because it is a little more. It feels a little more free. Like you're still confined to this area, but you can kind of go wherever. I can see that. It's more closely, or it's more close to like an actual Silent Hill game, I guess.
Yeah.
I suppose.
What is this a door? That isn't going to open.
Nah, jeez.
Oh, this is where it came from. Alright, there's another way at the save point, I guess? There's another door we haven't checked.
Door.
It's locked.
Never mind.
Did I try Sector 1? I thought that's where I just came from. No, wait, yeah, there's the valve and we can't go that way.
Where?
Then where?
Oh, 212. It looks like there's a door that we didn't go through. Sort of top leftish.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Just to help us not wander around for too long, being like, wow, let's look at these three same rooms. Oh, just kidding. I'm
Wait,
so
that's
sorry.
like also. So every door in the world is locked.
If you go left once you get out of this room, and then go into that hallway, there's
The one that leads to Sector 1 is blocked. There's the thing where we need to turn the valve.
Oh, is that the valve?
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh. Oh, well, welcome in, Gooey Gummy. We are, just as a heads up, we are not fans of this game.
Not huge fans. So they need help with this, right?
But welcome in. I would love to hear why you like this game.
He just kind of gets bored and stops turning that one. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Where go? Is there a key or something in 211? I found a gun, but I feel like there should be something that helps us go.
Yeah. Prefer key to gun at the moment, I think.
Can we shoot the lock off the door? Then gun can be key. How come this corridor to nowhere for no reason? Oh, I could not see anything there. It's Paul Schiebel, a skeptic in Silent Hill, through the fog.
You played it with friends, though they knew the game inside and out when you went through. I can see why that would be fun. I guess. Is there a reason? Was it more that you like this game because you have fond memories of it with playing with friends? Or do you actually enjoy the game? And trying to, like, phrase that as nicely as possible. But I'm genuinely actually curious about what is enjoyable about this game.
No one's hung the keys back up. We can't even take the eye wash.
This is why it's so important to clean up after yourselves. Please put things away.
I mean, I did go this way, but I didn't rub up against every wall this way, I suppose.
Gotta put your face in there. Oh, thank you for the follow, Gooey Gummy. I appreciate it. Mainly watched it, so didn't really play it yourself. Mainly story reasons, I guess. Okay.
Found a child's drawing.
Ooh.
It's not a key, though.
But yeah, we are... Gonna take a little peek. And if you get to the point where you're like, the fuck? let me know.
Tell me if it's really silly. Wait, it's gotta be.
You got the handgun, right?
I got the handgun. Did I get a key with the handgun? I have a key.
Oh,
You
hey!
just didn't use automatically. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. We know now. Slash, we remember now. This is fine.
Oh, there's a lad over there.
Just walk. I feel like that
Not
first
anymore.
shot to the head should have probably taken him out, but hey.
I made him limp. I made him
No.
poorly.
Got a little tired.
I don't like this man. We haven't heard from Brian or Paul in a while.
Not Paul.
I just remembered that my torch just turns itself off sometimes and I can turn it back on. That's why it's been so dark.
Well, there we go. I forgot that a flashlight existed.
Someone's mad at me.
So, you know,
Ooh, yeah.
that's cool.
It's Shepard.
Sorry, that was
Something
me.
It's Shepard. There he is. The guy's right outside. No?
They're just. Oh, okay, never mind. I was
Are
gonna
they
say they're just
confused?
hanging out, but can you blame them if they're a little confused?
Can't pry this open with this weapon.
Tragic.
Ooh. Ooh. Pipe is not what I was after.
Oh, hey,
Alright, this is fine.
found guy.
Yeah. Can they crouch? Can they crouch? Oh, they can!
Oh, jeez. Oh,
No, use another
Oh.
weapon! Switch to anything! Why won't you?
Alex, please.
Shouldn't have used all the bullets. There might be, like, 3 guys in the next corridor all at once.
Oh my god. Can you imagine? 3
I don't know how to
guys,
deal with
not
that.
1 guy.
We're normally it's a 2-guy situation.
They're 3 guys, not 2 guys.
3 guys, not 2 guys.
Al!
A terrifying proposition.
Oh, hey.
The little still frame of his funny little head was pretty good.
Oh, you thought this was Downpour? Yeah, no, hey, we have not gotten to Downpour just yet.
We have Vampire on the list.
It will happen eventually. We are, sorry, I realized we've just kind of been like, just wandering around and talking about wandering. Currently working on going through all of the available Silent Hill games. No, you can listen. You can spoil. I have played Downpour. I played it when it came out, and I was a tad disappointed. Granted, I have not touched it since it came out, and it's been a few years. It's been over 10 years. Oh God, when did Downpour come out?
Don't what budge. Not budging that.
Oh,
though.
it's been 12 years. Oh God. So I don't know. Maybe my opinion on it has changed. We'll see once we get back to it. But
Haven't.
but yeah, we're working through all of the Silent Hill games to kind of try and objectively state why the post-Team
we-
Silent games aren't the greatest.
We're big fans of the first 4 and
Yeah.
then not really any of the rest of them.
Gone into it hoping that maybe Curtis, please, that maybe the opinion has changed now that we're older and stuff. But so far, it's been a little rough. But yeah, It's, if nothing else, again, like, we're going into it with a, wow, okay.
Boss fight.
You just made that man explode. All of his jam came out.
I pressed A 3 times and then X.
Sorry, Al.
Whoa.
Can't believe this.
Riveting gameplay.
Gotta get you out of here.
The knife's too fast for him. Everyone's animations are too slow. If I can remember how
Yeah.
to switch to that, which I can't always.
Oh, hey, things. I am glad that we've got health again. That's lovely.
Yeah, it was just the first one where I didn't find any of the health things.
Yeah.
I can open the thing now because I got Lady to hold the thing.
We were gonna do Scrunk 3, right? After this one?
Well, that was the plan, I think.
I don't remember anything.
You got a spreadsheet, right?
I do, and I'm trying to find it. I have located it now.
Okay.
I just forgot how to navigate around my computer for a moment. It's fine. Listen, it's been a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Could do all the Resident Evils after Silent Hill, you know?
I mean, I'd be super
go.
down for that.
That's
No.
another huge project.
That would just be, I just want to play the games I like. Oops, there are like maybe two bad ones.
Oh, he doesn't have a gun.
You want a piece of me?
But yeah, it'll be the HD collection of 3 next. I need to. Right, we were gonna do Orphan. I need to make sure I can get a mobile emulator that actually works.
Oh god, his gun punch is way better than any other melee attack I've ever encountered. It hits me before my knife hits him.
Oh, jeez.
Whoa!
Don't worry, Gooey. Welcome back. I was just saying, we're gonna play the HD collection version of 3 next. We did the original not too long ago. And it was delightful. I really like 3. But yeah, I need to find a mobile emulator to
No!
I'm sure she's fine. The fact that she doesn't even like cower or anything. Oh my god. Yeah, 3 is the one with Heather. It's just like it's a really good game,
Very
but I
good.
also she started cowering as the man was dying.
It's kind of all over the place. Oh,
Yeah.
she's up to...
She doesn't know what's happening, and you know what? Fair. Yeah, no, 3 is a really good game on its own, but especially as a sequel, I think it is one of my favorites. It's such a good game.
Ooh.
I guess it, but yeah, no, I'd be super down to go through the Resident Evils. Hey, Resident Evil kinda slaps.
We already kind of did 4 twice, but you know, we can always
Consider,
play 4.
what if we
Resident
do
Evil
4 again?
Just play Resident Evil 4 over and over again without pause.
I mean, that's kind of what I did with Village when it came out.
Yeah?
Village was so much fun. No, but that would be nice, because I have been, like... I've been considering, like, revisiting, like, Code Veronica, because, like, I haven't played that in ages.
Me too,
actually. Well, hey! In that case, I mean, we still have a lot of Silent Hills to get through. And depending on how long it takes us to get through those, maybe the remake of 2 will have come out. Oh,
I actually
God.
got a rifle, I didn't miss it. We are gonna have to do a remake, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I have to. I have this morbid curiosity about how fucked Bloopers has made it. And I need to know. Village is one that sounds out to you? Sounds good? Sounds bad? Maybe because of the bad guys for certain reasons too. I mean, listen. This is a big mommy vampire safe space. Okay. Listen. Stands out. No, that's okay. That makes sense. Yeah. No, Village was a lot of fun. I really liked Resident Evil 7. Like, it was such a great way to, like, revitalize the series as a whole, but also try something new. Like, I mean, the fact that they did first-person camera and, like, really leaned into the horror aspect, was delightful.
It's the most horror one in the series, and it's the seventh one. They reinvent themselves so often, and it's wild
so
how
good.
few misses there are.
But then with Village, like, I mean, you have such a good rogues gallery in that. Like, all of the bad guys.
Daddy's also very good.
Yeah! We love Heisenberg here! Listen! No, just, like, all of the baddies are so good. And it does still lean towards, like, horror. Like 7 did. But then you also have, like, there are, like, some really good camp moments like 4, and I stand by I think that they were using Village to test out reception of a remake for 4, and it was so good. I would highly recommend Village. Oh, Wheeler.
He got knives in him.
He got knived.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Oh yeah, he was just there. Are you okay now?
He seems fine.
F5, it's fine.
Have you played any of the other Resident Evils? If you've played 7 and that's what roped you into the series, have you since played any of the others? Because, like, you should. Oh, what are you doing?
To get him out of here.
What about you?
I can't. Not without Joshua.
Who's gonna tell him?
I can't lose you too.
You haven't played them, only watched them. I mean,
That's fine.
yeah, we support watching video games as well. Hello,
Hey.
I say as a streamer. No, no, but genuinely, like, that's good. It's as long as you have experienced them to some extent. If you do get a chance to play them, would highly recommend. But, yeah,
Horror games, it can look a bit much.
yeah, they can be
if you got the
a
controller
little
in your
daunting.
hands.
One of many
Sorry,
reasons why I just play the horror stunts. Here, let me take the controller.
That's genuinely like part of why you wanted to do this, right? It's to like to help people who are normally into horror stuff have like a safe space to enjoy it in.
Let me give you that slight buffer, because it is very different, like, watching a horror game versus playing one. I mean, there's still times where you get really scared. I get it, but it's not quite. I don't know. You're not in the driver's seat. You're not the one who's in peril, you know? I don't know. Horror good.
I didn't miss Shotgun.
I
I've been everywhere.
fully support playing more horror games. Fully support it. But yeah, any of the Resident Evils, excluding 6, would highly recommend.
Yeah. 6 isn't correct. Are we gonna? I mean, if we do all of them, we'll have power through 6.
We can't. Rudy, I can't do it. I could.
We got past Helena, not Helena, Deborah.
Deborah. I will.
It's fine.
I could consider
no one has to
doing 5 again. And not dumping you off a bridge repeatedly.
Yeah, I think we should get through 5. It was
We
we got to the bad part, and then
Yeah.
someone kept dropping me off a bridge over it all.
Not to name names.
Not to name names. I think I've missed my equipment, and I'm not sure.
Oh.
Because I think that you can find your equipment from earlier in the game. Somewhere in here.
see.
And I think we're approaching like a point of no return.
No, that's fair.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Hey, you should head back to 301.
301's locked.
Don't you have a key for 301?
No.
No. Oh, okay.
Is there a key for 301?
Hey, you should consider going to 321.
320? Oh, right. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's like way the fuck over there.
Do I need the lady for that?
Oh.
Did I like full miss my equipment by just... Wait, I can't even leave this area now.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Guess the point of no... It saves you after the point of no return and not before the point of no return.
What the fuck?
Cool. I'm gonna run to the loo, though. I'll be
That's
right back.
fair. Oh no.
It's fine. I have the knife.
The knife is the best weapon. We do know this, but that's a little rude. Why would it do that? Goodness gracious. I like how we've talked more about Resident Evil this stream than we have Silent Hill. And you know what? I think that's okay. I think that's fine. We have been denied. Game said no. You know those things you wanted? Can't have it. Not allowed.
I remembered SGF saying it was really easy to just miss all the getting your stuff back.
Jeez.
It is. It's very easy. It's like more hidden than any secret in the game is getting your stuff back. Oh, gee.
It's true. They are both very good in their own right. As a hardcore, just the first 4 games, Silent Hill fan, I also really like Resident Evil. They're both real dang good.
I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing.
Is it only the... Oh no, you can turn up both rings.
Okay. Did he say what you do? They're written in a strange language.
Helpful. Useful.
Hang on. There's a little man here.
Oh.
Ah.
Okay.
It turned the text into English. Holy contract with our god. Accept our duties of keeper of law willingly. Consign our child to the noose in God's name.
Lore and noose.
Oh, it's the right. That makes sense. Which one?
Like, which symbols do we have here?
Probably be easy to see if I mean, I just want to see if I can unlock any other ones.
No, for sure, for sure. Definitely get all the info first. Yeah,
Is the
gotta
thing
snoop
of-
around. Sorry.
Is the thing at the top like the family sigil and then the...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you got the funny little sideways triangle with the squiggles.
Yeah. Executor of the law, consign a child to the earth in God's name. So, buried.
Oh, there's also little symbols above the little keyhole that you stab. That looks
Yeah,
like
I did see those. That could be Earth? Mountains is Earth?
Mountains
this
is Earth. It's like a little drop over some water.
Yeah.
And that is that symbol. It's like a little hand holding a fork.
Yeah.
That's what that is, right?
That's the shepherds. Consign our child to the water in God's name. Master of Arms. Dad was gonna do the fighting for the Order. I hate that it's called the Order.
It is very silly.
It's very silly.
Oh, Alex is 100% showing off. That's an eyeball and a little guy.
Eyeball little guy.
That's the Fitch family.
Performer of rites. Consign our child to the knife. So, eyeball's almost lined up with that.
Eyeball's gotta be little guy.
Yeah, is this right?
No, because that puts a bug in one of them.
Oh, yeah.
So it should be
So it's
eyeball,
the other little guy.
fork, and a little sideways triangle, right?
Oh, there's some... Yeah, you're right. I didn't realize there were more than one eyeball on the outer ring.
Nah, that's okay.
Yeah. Your eyeball goes to you. Your thing does not go to
Scales.
you. It's way over there. Your little triangle is nowhere? Is here. Yeah, I need to turn the outer ring. We need a different eyeball. There's no eyeball that lines up with the...
Do you need to line them up with the... Oh, yeah, no, you do. Okay, I see.
That was my plan. But if this lines up here... Eyeball is not lined up. In fact, there's nothing here. It's in between two.
Well, eyeball should be...
Why?
Oh, okay. You have to put... No, okay, so I think that's right? So that should be, like, where the Fitches go. But no, because...
It's confusing.
Wait, there are multiple little guys in the center, right?
Yeah, there's more.
Okay, so we need to put a different little guy on the one with the prescription pad.
Okay.
I think.
But does that need to be like lined up with the eyeball and this nonsense?
I think eventually, but I think we should start with the inner ring and work outwards. Because like it might line up more better.
There's just the two.
It's just yeah.
Like this is right? The Poseidon's fork is in the water. Scales in mountains? Scales should be water. No,
okay,
that's
but
not
then
right.
Can you
What
wait?
are those scales? Noose.
There isn't really a noose, is the
No.
thing. So I think it might just be the symbols that we can see, and the text is just flavor.
I don't know how to like input the solution. Is
Yeah.
my problem.
I think we can ignore
There's no like
them like lining up with the outside stuff, like the things that aren't just in the ring.
so
because
just the in the ring stuff has to line
I
up.
think so, yeah.
But then we've tried every aeration, surely. There's only the two little men. And we've tried both, and on the one with the prescription pad, so we've turned it all the way.
Oh, I guess we have, haven't we? Okay, hold on. Let me think. Let me consider.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. Well, like, okay, so maybe we only need to
I don't get these, because they go into nothing, and then they don't line up with any... So, hang on, I might got it. The skills need to be... The skills in the middle, no. So then the thing that skills goes with, which is... The water?
Squiggles.
The squiggles? So does squiggles need to be pointing to that line?
Possibly.
Even though the triangle's out there. And then...
Mountains and thing?
We're gonna end up with bugs here. There's only the two squiggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that don't work.
Well, they've given us 4 symbols and only 3 center bits.
Yeah, and no things that line up with each other that are obviously like, here is me inputting a solution.
Yeah. No, go for it, Gooey. I appreciate you being mindful of backseating. But if you were as confused as we are, we're here for it. Lay it on us.
I'm just pressing buttons at this point. I have no idea.
I mean, I can look it up if we need to.
Don't be on standby, because this is actual nonsense.
There's just like, there's too many...
No, there's 2 little triangle legs.
There's too many hints? If we can call them that?
There's no hint that says, like, here is how you say what you think the answer is, though. And that's the first and most important hurdle, I think. I'm trying to get triangle kind of over where it should be, vaguely. One of them. And then see if anything...
Outer ring lines up with the 3 circles. Maybe the outer ring is supposed to line up with those? Yeah?
Yeah, but like...
Do we have a combination of 3 symbols that can match up?
Wait, no, we can link whatever we want with the 3 circles, because we can move it around as much as we want, but they still don't tell us where the inner circle's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If we can fully turn the inner circle to any way we want. I don't know. I'm having trouble.
Can we look at the inner circle so I can see all of the symbols, just real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So bugs we don't want to use, but I don't know if the ones in the circle or the ones out of the circle are the ones we're not using.
Yeah, I think
there's also 4 families and 3 things.
Yeah, that's causing some confusion here. And if we rotate the inner circle again, we get a bug, which is not helpful.
So these 2 are linked, and I don't know what that means. And they're linked with this, apparently. Do I need to just do these 2?
So Little
Man and
Fork?
Poseidon's Fork. Poseidon's Fork's water, right?
Yes.
No, it's blood?
It's a little drop of
right.
Whatever.
Are the things on the plex not the things, actually? And you just have to...
Maybe...
This is the family sigil. It said water. We have to pick the symbol for water.
Possibly. Which seems rude.
The other symbol near it is just a ruse. It's just a funny joke.
Mean symbol.
But then I don't know why Little Man's here now.
Otherwise, could it be that we have to exclude the Shepherd family since that symbol doesn't exist?
You'd think so, because that didn't happen. I don't. Do we know that in the story right now? No.
No, we don't. We don't know that, but we do. Like, we did get whenever Judge Holloway was talking about whatever she was talking about, she did mention that our father failed or whatever.
But then, what direction do we? Because one of the circles is pointing right at the shepherd one. So, like, what orientation do we do anything in?
Let me see if I can at least get
Let's go somewhere.
that bit
Goes in a blood.
revealed to us.
Yeah, can we have like a hint that says like how you put in the solution? That'd tell me a lot about how we're supposed to do the puzzle, I think. Your eyeball.
Okay, we need to match them up with the inner circle. So we were kind of right with the one being the prescription pad being the Fitch family. Which would be, I think that's Little Man Eyeball.
Little Man Eyeball.
I think.
That
we may
makes
need to
sense.
triple check that though. But you are basing it around the inner circle, where like it's supposed to be based on like where the family stood.
I didn't even think because I'd forgotten who all the characters in the game were.
That's I only literally. The only reason I remember Fitch being the doctor is because the first time that I played this, I thought there was something, like, untoward happening between he and his daughter. And that was not the case.
It was only hinted at through the design for no reason.
Yeah, they only just, like, highly sexualized these monsters, despite the fact that they're based on children. Also, Gooey, thank you for the contribution to the gummy hunt! Gooey Gummy wants them gummies. I appreciate it though.
That right? Mountains. No. Mountains should be with triangle. It's with not that, but then there's no other. I guess we are excluding the shepherd family.
I assume so. I just looked to see what they were asked or what we were basing the solution on, and it is the center ring.
Oh wait, I've done it backwards. I should have turned the outer ring and not the inner ring. We need the other eyeball to be at this place. Because otherwise it's getting the shepherd family involved, which is apparently wrong.
Ignore it. Bad shepherds.
Bad family.
They done fucked up.
Just 2 more clicks. It's very slow.
You will need to change the inner circle again because you got a bug.
Oh, I got a bug.
That should only be like 3 clicks though, so you know.
When I realized it, I mean, I'd have had to do it the same amount of times anyway. You can't turn it back.
Yeah.
When I realized I'd started doing it wrong, I might as well have kept doing it.
This was fine.
Yeah, that looks good.
Welcome back, Gooey.
Rings have locked in place.
All you've missed was us turning some rings. Ooh boy.
Riveting
stuff.
Turn it all the way back.
Well, we figured it out. We just needed to know where they wanted the solution to be inputted.
That wasn't that bad. I'm just real dumb. That wasn't that bad a puzzle. It did. I just didn't like. There's so many. You were right. There's so many hints,
yeah.
And then the important thing is this.
Yeah, it's one of those. Once you know what you're aiming for, it's easy peasy. You got it. Oh God, what is this?
This must be the shepherds, right?
Yeah.
How do I turn the other one? Oh, I'm turning the other one now. I don't. It's the first one's not. Oh yeah.
It's one of those where no matter what you do, it's just gonna give you the one that you don't want.
Yeah. Sacrifice a lot for the Fitch family. This is where Dr. Fitch put Scarlet after he dismembered her.
Wowie. And Ernest Lawrence.
I mean, this one's got to be ours, right? Because it's the furthest away.
Yeah, fun for the whole family.
Shepherd sacrificial law.
Alex. But I'm Alex.
What?
Huh? Oh, lol.
It's an. It reminded me that my Xbox just struggling because it's old. That wasn't the game's fault.
No, but it was still just. I had a moment of panic that it was crashing.
It's very funny.
What's the matter?
Get dressed.
What are you doing here, Alex? That freak if he finds out.
The sound mixing in this game is
Give that to me.
fucking
Someone see.
wild.
No!
Yeah, I don't know why they're so quiet now.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you.
I could turn it up on my end if you need me to.
No, it's fine. I like when we first started, I was trying to like adjust the sound every time.
What's going on?
To yeah, sound mixing. What sound? But yeah, when we started out, I like tried to like adjust the volume while we were playing and stuff. But I gave up on it. Nah, y'all get to just hear it
What's the sound?
as we hear it, and
Not
by
you,
that I
anyway.
mean don't.
Dad thinks you're a little baby who can't do anything on his own.
Yeah? Then why'd he give me this?
Thank God for subtitles.
Dad's ring. But he told me not to show you, so I guess that makes me cooler.
Give you it on
Let
a
me see
chain
it.
to wear around your neck and then say, just
What a piece
don't
of
tell
cake.
him though.
It's worth more than $1 million. That's why Dad gave it to me. Give that back. Give that back.
Also, Alex is like what? Like a 20-odd-year-old dude
Grown
arguing with
man
this like 10-year-old?
Bullying this baby.
What the fuck, Alex? Also, that water.
Josh!
Do you know what you've done?
No.
It was an accident.
This is not the way it's supposed to be. I chose you.
He's supposed to be 16?
For all of us.
It's just his regular model from in the game.
Yeah.
Where he's like 25.
Oh my god.
They've like shaved his stubble. Not even. He's still got his stubble.
He's still got the stubble! Hold on, I need to quadruple check this now, because that is
Save him.
not a 16-year-old. It's like those those TV shows about high school where it's like, sir, that is a 30-year-old trying to be 18.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Yeah.
No.
I also like they're kind of like they're obviously aiming for like the reveal in Silent Hill 2, but it is kind of implied that James like hasn't forgotten that he killed his wife, right? He knows. He's just trying not to have to face it. It's a bit.
If it's not that he's like, I don't think he's like truly forgotten it, but it might just be one of
Yeah.
those things where he's like buried it subconsciously, so he doesn't acknowledge it. Also,
I
he's
think
supposed to be
he's-
22 in this.
He's trying not to acknowledge it, but
Yeah.
he knows what happened. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Like when people, oh god, that's
Hey,
horrible.
It's-
But why?
Hey, it's Amnion. I'd rather be looking at The Departed, TBH.
Oh, I realized what was happening there a little bit later. Okay, that time I just couldn't input anything before it happened. We get one combo. Please stop pushing me over.
Ah, jeez.
I mean, I dodged. It just didn't do it.
Why she got 6 titties?
Why Josh becomes Spider Lady?
I mean, I guess it's. Yeah, I don't fucking know, man. I assume it's like some horrible amalgamation of like Josh being the one. Sorry, 6 titties, one for each arm. Fair point. I imagine it's like an amalgamation of like what Alex imagined. Are we done?
I hope so.
Or is it phase 2? What's...
I'm out of bullets, so I prefer
Oh.
if we were done.
Oh, it's just okay.
It's phase 2.
It's just phase 2. Can I finish a single thought before a new one replaces it? No. It's a mix. It's a mix of Josh and a mix of Alex, or like Alex's perception of Josh, right?
Yeah, but why is it a pregnant Spider Lady?
This is not a justification, nor a defense, but possibly because Alex viewed Josh as being like the baby who was always looked after more than him. Mom never cut the cord. I don't fucking know, man.
I don't know.
Alex was supposed to be 18 when his brother died. Still dubious about that being an 18-year-old. That's a little more acceptable,
that didn't
though.
count as a dodge.
Yikes.
It was in the animation, fully. He only does that animation when you dodge good.
Jeez.
I don't know how I, like, do a... If I'm meant to be doing, like, a finishing hit. I don't know how to do it.
Oh yeah, I guess previously, like, the finishing hits never showed up, huh? You just had to...
No, unless you stood in the perfect spot.
Yeah. Well, she seems to be stuck when she does the big... Oh! There we go! Now is not the time for the cesarean, sir.
That was
Horrible!
Yeah, that's
Sorry. Oh my god.
had a lot of health, and I was starting to wonder if I was just not standing in the right spot for the thing.
You got
I
it.
think I just needed to hit them more times with the knife. It's a small knife.
A little baby knife.
It's faster. Josh, why were you in? Why were you in there?
It was warm. It's like a tauntaun.
Oh.
That is an important question. How'd he not hit his brother with that stab? He did. He's the thing.
Did he kill him again?
That's a dead kid.
That's a dead kid. I do think it's like very obvious that they came up with cool monster designs and then tried to weave them into the story.
Absolutely.
Like,
because
he liked bugs, right? We know that, and he was.
Well, he liked spiders. He liked all bugs, but he had an affinity for spiders.
I think he has like beetles and butterflies in his room. Maybe spiders.
No, I mean he likes all bugs, but he like gravitates towards spiders, but likes all bugs. Because yeah, he did have all the other bugs as well. Oh, bye, brother.
My brother.
No, yeah, like you said, it's definitely a case of like they made up some cool monsters and then we're like, shit, we have to. Is he just floating in nowhere for a second?
His hand
Why?
went through the wall.
Yeah, what the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god, game, can you stop doing stuff so we can finish a thought? Made cool monsters, built around that because they realized, ah shit, we have to like tie these monsters into things. And it just
What ending?
First time through the game, by the way.
That's where they've been taking everybody. I knew it.
Can get that on your first playthrough.
Yep.
Isn't that cool?
Just did. I've never played this before.
Oh jeez. Yeah, so we got this ending. I thought that's what we were aiming for and forgot for a minute.
I remembered. I remembered that bit from Super Great Friends playthrough where he like reasoned out his decisions and they made his first time through, which led to the UFO ending. And I agree. Like, I don't. You can't really see what's happening to Mom. So when she asks you to mercy kill her, it's like, no, Mom, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're gonna be fine.
End it for you, Mom. You're okay. Let's just get you down.
You have to forgive Dad. Did we even get a choice for that one? Did I not do something that would have given me the choice? It's fine. I wouldn't have done it anyway, so I was going for this ending. But if you have to forgive Dad, and he is a monster. It's
He's
weird.
Horrible.
Because like he's part of this cult that just kills a bunch of kids, but like within the lore of specifically this game, there is like the Pyramid Head cult that live in the other world that are gonna get you if you don't do it. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of justified in that Pyramid Head's gonna come kill everybody. But it's like, but the series thing has always been that like the actual horrible shit is stuff people do to people. And then, the reason there's monsters is because people did real bad stuff.
Yeah.
But I still like don't forgive Dad. He was horrible as well as a murderer of children.
Yeah.
And then you save that guy at the end where he's 1 inch away from a med kit, and it says, "Do you want to give him the med kit?" It's like, well, yeah,
of course.
It's right there. I have 5. And that like very reasonable series of conclusions lead you to the joke ending.
Yeah, and this is why all the previous games that had UFO endings hid them behind a full playthrough. You had to play at least once and then had to do a bunch of weird proprietary bullshit to get them. Homecoming said, nah, fuck that. Give it to them their first go.
Yeah. If it was even like the Easter egg was there on your first go, 'cause normally you have to like solve a bunch of Easter egg stuff. Easter egg like stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not even that. It's that just by doing the regular choices a certain way that the game doesn't like, you get the UFO ending.
Yeah, it's...
But we have finished it.
Yay!
I did manage to keep him past Spurs that time. I wasn't doing great when we played the first bit.
It was a rough go for both of us, I think, for the first bit, but we've done it. You've done it. You got through. Oh boy. Homecoming is still, from the games that we have revisited so far, still the worst.
I do think a lot of it is just like a really boring slog through areas you've already been through.
Yeah.
It's not like backtracking in the same way the other Silent Hill games do. It's that you just have to walk through the full area again.
Yeah.
And there's only one path, and you just walk down the path. Instead of like doing, you have to kind of wander and explore stuff. It's just you go down the path, and then you go back. You turn around 180 degrees and go back down the path.
Then you go back down that linear path. Taking a little turn here and there, but you only have the one option.
Yeah.
It's...
You go reach a wall and have to turn around and go back. I don't think there's much good that you can say about this one.
Like I said earlier, the idea...
I don't think it's just execution. I don't think it's a good It's mostly a very generic horror game that bears aesthetic similarities to Silent Hill, and they're all from the movie. That
yeah,
Silent Hill fans don't like the movie.
You could have taken out all of the bits that specifically state hi, this is a Silent Hill game. And it would have been a little more interesting story-wise, but even then, I don't know, the whole cult sacrifices children, you've got bad parents thing is just, it's very overdone, and it takes a very special approach to make that interesting. And as a whole, I think we should just probably back away from that kind of storytelling, because it's old hat. But it's also like I said, I think it would be interesting to have a story about the town across the lake from Silent Hill being affected by the shit that happened in Silent Hill. I don't think this is it, though.
A lot of people disagree, but I don't think Silent Hill games necessarily need to happen in Silent Hill. I think it's fine. I definitely copy the vibe rather than the saying, and then certainly somewhere that's right there next to Silent Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's more. Have you played or do I?
Oh, we're definitely doing the room. We haven't done it yet.
Yeah, we will be doing the room. I have played it previously. I did a stream of it ages ago, when I first started streaming. I think that was my first Halloween stream. I don't think we quite finished it though. But we will be getting to the room. Actually, where did my spreadsheet go? I really like the room. I can forgive it for being an unfinished mess. Because there is a lot of potential there. Yeah. Let's see. We've got after the HD collection version of 3, if I can get a working mobile emulator, it'll be Orphan.
Yeah, that looks actually kind of interesting.
And a lot of people have reported really great things about it.
Yeah, I'm genuinely if we can get it's tragic if we can't, but if we can get it working, I'm genuinely interested in seeing those.
I'm super stoked about that if we can again get an emulator that functions. But after Orphan, or if Orphan can't happen, after 3, we'll do the room. Salvia! Hi, pal. How are you doing? So yeah, the room will be happening in 2, possibly 1 games. We'll see what we can do as far as Orphan is concerned. Yeah, not oh hey Mark. We'll be doing Silent Hill the room. Yeah. Do Be Loving Me the room. It's a very funny movie. I mean, a very serious movie that everyone needs to take very seriously. But no, Silent Hill the room. Good game. Tragic that it never got finished. Along the lines of doing a Silent Hill game not set in Silent Hill. I love that, and I like the idea of that. It's one reason why I'm really excited about Forte. It was one of the reasons why I kind of got excited about Downpour, initially, and then was fairly disappointed at the time about it. But again, we'll see if my opinion has changed. It's been 12 years, so you know. Yeah, it mostly just comes down to the fact that, like, I don't know, like, just treat it like the Siren series. It's this weird thing that is happening in this space, and it's kind of similar to this other weird thing that happened in this one space, but it's separate and it's its own thing, you know? Do that.
Yeah, it's like an interconnected world of just weird eldritch happenings. Like the movies from that guy that you showed me.
Oh,
They're like Japanese horror movies. They're like really low budget ones.
And The Cult and
yeah, those are great.
Cult. Yeah.
Cool like that.
Oh shit, what is his name? Hold on, I do have to look that up because it's gonna bother me otherwise.
My favorite Silent Hill game is 1.
Yeah.
3 was very good though. I'd forgotten how good 3 was.
3 is so good. 1 is definitely like my all-time favorite Silent Hill. Definitely in my like top 5 favorite video games. 2 is right up there though, but that's because it's a really great sequel and it's also just a really fun game.
When we say like 2's not the best one, we're not like weird haters who are like, actually, 2 sucks. We don't
love 2.
We're hipsters. We don't like 2. No, 2's fucking great. It's just they're all really
so
good.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Also that director's name is Koji Shiraishi, who did Noroi and Occult and stuff. Good films, would recommend.
Really good movies. Like really interesting, kind of slow builds to to weird shit going on.
Yeah. So I think just like, I don't know, with how good the first 4 are, I include the first 4. Or I include The Room in the originals because they're I think it's really good, or has the potential to be incredibly good. But sorry, my asthma's been acting up really bad last week or 2.
Pyramid Head twerking had almost killed you.
Nope, it did. It has led to my coughs being incredibly wheezy, and I'm just thinking about Pyramid Head twerking now. And it's beautiful. And I love it. Delightful. Yeah, no, it's I don't know, just like the fact that like the first 4 games are all so varied. Like they all have like a central theme. They all like connect because they're based in like the same universe, and yeah, they all more or less take place in the same town. There's still like so much difference between all of them that when it's like, especially when they're basing a game in like a town that's so close to Silent Hill and they just drop the ball so hard, like they have with Homecoming, it just makes it even more disappointing.
It's like I think doing this right after 3 was probably the worst time as well, because like the main thing about this game is that there's just no interesting environments.
Yup.
And 3's just really weird kind of liminal horror, which the series hasn't done up to that point, even though 3 is the one that's like just a continuation of 1. It's like the most sequel of the sequels. I think 2 like just opens up the whole thing to like we could do anything in Silent Hill. We could do whatever.
There's
no limit on this. We could just be making Silent Hills forever, and they could all be bangers. And then
the only detriment that 2 has done to the series was base it in Silent Hill, and I don't blame 2 for that. I think that was a good move at the time, but that has sort of set this like weird precedence for a lot of other devs to be like, oh, we have to do it here, and it's like, nah. You gotta take the concept of 2, not the actual execution of 2.
2 didn't make Sexy Pyramid Head. That was Dead by Daylight.
That was DBT came in and said, We gotta cake that boy up.
Pyramid Head had a glow up.
Although, to be fair, Masahiro Ito did make him pretty alright. Just made a big beefy boy, and that's appealing to me. Big beefy boy with big knife. Let's go.
He's just like,
dude.
Yeah, you don't. It's just like a big normal man with a big weird head.
What if I'm into big normal men with big weird heads?
Yeah.
No, it's listen. Like what you like. Be into what you're into. I love Pyramid Head. I fucking love Pyramid Head. I just hate seeing my boy be done dirty in a lot of video games.
It's real bad. He just keeps showing up. And you don't even like. If Pyramid Head's gonna show up, like, why does he just like show up and then leave?
Just fan service. It's literally all it is.
It's just fan service. Just make me fucking do a boss fight with Pyramid Head or whatever. I run away from him. Why are you calling him up? He's a busy man. Why are you calling him up? Having him just show up, show his face, and then go home.
James to punish. Yeah, no, listen. I love me some Pyramid Head. Just in certain contexts. This is not one of them. Pyramid Head, my work here is done, but you didn't do anything.
Oh, didn't I?
But yeah, closing thoughts on Homecoming. It's not a good game. Like, in any respect, it plays rough. Like, the mechanics are miserable.
I'm like very bad at games in general, but there was like the dodge was very unreliable, and it was like there was a weird delay whenever you wanted to do anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially when you said this was the year that Devil May Cry 4 came out.
Right?
I feel like it can't all be me.
No, absolutely not. Again, it has been a very long time since I played Homecoming, but I couldn't remember exactly what the issues were. I just remembered that it played like a really bad game. Like, they weren't polished, none of the controls really worked, you couldn't rely on anything to do anything.
Like, on the other hand, like, when we got to the point where we realized, like, the knife, if you just keep clicking A, you win every fight easily without getting hit. Like, we just did that. You just get the knife out and press A, it's fine.
Have you considered just base knifing everything? Just use the knife. Don't worry about all the other weapons you picked up. Just use the weapon that they gave you the first time.
I also think I didn't like the story, but if they'd have spread the story out through the whole game rather than it just being in the last hour, I would have. It'd at least have been something, because a lot of the time there just wasn't anything to like cling on to. We were just walking through corridors for like hours. It was miserable.
It didn't. There wasn't any hook at the beginning aside from you've come home from military, you've come home from army. Where parents? And that's and I guess where Josh was the only other thing that they gave us.
Go find Josh.
And like all that ever was being brought up anytime we met another character was, have you seen Josh? And then no further pursuit of that. Like, yeah, so they give you like the first 5 minutes intro and then don't really give you anything. There's not even like a lot of lore like sprinkled throughout about the town or the cult. Like, it wasn't until like the prison that we started getting any sort of notes, and I think there were only like 2 there. Yeah.
Really dumb law. It's just very generic and silly.
Yeah, there's this. Sorry. I was just gonna say, there is that like that expectation that it's like, well, because family, you're gonna find them, and you, the player, are emotionally invested. And it's like, no, I don't know who any of these characters are, and I don't know that I care.
And whenever we see any of them, they're assholes.
Yeah.
I don't want to meet Dad. He sucks.
Dad sounds like a dick. Josh, at least Dream Josh, was kind of being an asshole too. So I don't know that I want to find this boy, and my
Josh
mom doesn't know what the
clearly-
fuck is going on.
Josh clearly doesn't want to hang out with us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
you
great.
could say that like Silent Hill 1 is just you walking around saying where's daughter and then people being weird and not answering the question. But like it is in service of something. They don't just say a bunch of nonsense that's not related to what you asked them and then leave.
Well,
I mean,
they
they
also...
kind of do, but there is like a broader story going on there.
And they don't... When they introduce Cheryl, she's not a dick to her dad, and she's also a 7-year-old girl, and it's...
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like that's an easier sort of
that's true.
thing to, like, put yourself into the shoes of. Even if you're not a parent, like, you can see a parent being distressed about their small child being lost in this unfamiliar town, and it's like, you can empathize with that. Even if just to an extent, like, yeah, I get it. You're gonna do some weird shit because your kid's missing. Not every Silent Hill, no. Silent Hill 2 doesn't. I mean, there's Laura and she wanders around and you do wonder where she's gone every once in a while, but she's not the focus of 2.
She's the only one who's got stuff together.
Yeah. Laura knows what's happening.
Yeah.
She called James a fart face, and I love that for her. And
But some of it is James is trying to like, look out for her, I guess, at some points.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah, no, and and some of that is also Maria. I had to think about her name for a hot second there.
Maria.
Yeah, I was literally gonna. HD collection has broken me as a human. She like pushes you to try and find her, but she's, like I said, like she's not necessarily the focus, and there's no like, you are the lost child in 3, but also you're like an older teen now, so it's fine. And in 4 there is the talk of children going missing.
Maybe there always is a lost child.
might be a bit of a staple.
There's always a lost child and there's always a lighthouse. I was gonna say, they keep just in the having to have everything happen in this town, where like the moment you're introduced to the town, it's like it's a dying resort town. No one goes here, not because it's spooky, just because it sucks. There's nothing open. Like
that's
that's
the
the main
nature
thing.
of small towns like that. Is
Yeah,
at one point they're
There's lots of
booming,
towns
and at
like
other
that.
times they're not. And,
it's like a very normal place. It's just
yeah.
like there's something slightly spooky about a ghost town, but not like you'd be weirded out by it because it's a place where there used to be loads of people and now there's no one.
Now there's not. Yeah.
And that's it. But then like in the having to have everything happen in this tiny town, they've just added so much stuff to the town over the series. There's always like another giant building just off camera that no one had ever looked at or talked about before.
Looking at you, Origins. Hey,
Yeah,
remember that sanitarium we have on the edge of town, despite the fact that we have 2 small hospitals located in town?
2 hospitals and a giant sanitarium.
I can forgive the 2 hospital situation. Because they are,
Yeah,
I
makes
think
sense.
they are on like opposite sides of the lake, and
Yeah.
like they're not huge hospitals either. And it would make sense to have like
the
one
one-
hospital.
Yeah, there's
For,
like
like-
one big one and one very small one.
Yeah, and I imagine that like the big one. I don't know if there's like any text to support it or not, but like having been to a couple of like little towns that used to be booming and then weren't. I lived in one for a short while. Like we had a couple of hospitals, and one was like the place where people would like where locals would go, and the other was more for like people who were either in
That makes
had
sense because it was a
bigger
resort
medical
town.
conditions, or for when people like came to visit and stuff like that. So it's like it tracks. That makes sense. I can forgive 2 hospitals, but a sanitarium, it's not necessary. for such a small town. I don't know. Origins was a hot mess. Not as bad as this fucking game, though.
I didn't like this one. It's... I did say it's the worst game I've ever streamed.
Yeah.
When I was DMing you. It might
And that's
be...
valid.
Like, I feel like it's a game that you'd, like, play through with a podcast on and not pay a lot of attention to, or just, like... play an hour of and then
Yeah.
put down and then never remember to pick it back up again. Like every time you're like, was I playing that game? It just kind of slides out of your mind
Yeah.
and you do something else. It's not like bad in funny or interesting ways a lot of the time. It's just kind of a slog with no hook. It was very hard to find things to say about a lot of the middle part when we were playing, and it's fine. We're past it now. We're out.
Yeah. It's definitely rough. And not good, nor fun, nor interesting. And again, even if you like remove the Silent Hill IP from Homecoming and just treat it as a video game, it's not good. It's rough and uninteresting, and
I don't know where Homecoming is in the timeline, or if it exists in the timeline. It's the thing is, like, it follows on from the movies, kind of like you're in the Silent Hill from the movies. I don't think there's any like specific place where it definitely happens. It would be after 2, I guess.
It would definitely be after 1. Because Travis shows up and he was pre-Origins, or he was in Origins, but Origins takes place like not too long, well, I guess 7 years before the first one.
Well, nothing like any game that gets entered into the series probably happens after 1, right? If it's in Silent Hill, except Origins, which is very strange.
For some reason. Yeah. And there isn't like, I know that
one's
like,
when things start going wrong.
Yeah, I know some fans have like a timeline for all the games. I don't necessarily know that it's necessary outside of the first like 3. And even that's a little iffy. Yeah. I think like generally it's considered that the first 4 are in chronological order. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. With some arguments about the placement of 2 and 3. Anything beyond that, I don't fucking know, man.
Do people think 3's before 2?
Some people do. I don't. I do think that the first 4 are in order. I think that the way that they came out is but yeah. That's one of those that would be like vaguely interesting if any of the ones post the originals actually made a difference.
It's hard as well because they were like just whipping the IP around between all these different, like very
different studios.
Very different studios, and studios that like only worked on mobile games and stuff.
Yeah.
I do feel like the people who did Origins and Shattered Memories like really gave it a go, but they just didn't have the like experience making real games.
Yeah, they're the only ones that did more than 1 Silent Hill outside of Team
They
Silent.
got to do 2 of them.
They did 2 of them, and as much as I hate Origins and Shattered Memories, just because of the weird retconning that they did for no reason.
Shattered Memories is in its own different timeline that doesn't touch anything else, and
but
Origins, it's so strange. It just doesn't make sense with the stories because we're like weird lore nerds, and there's so much lore in Silent Hill. when there's something like Origins, it's like that just doesn't fit. My headcanon cannot acknowledge this.
Shattered Memories is in the Shadow realm of lore. Facts. I as much as I don't like those two games, they are playable. They were at least vaguely interesting. Origins was very fun to pull apart and be like, that is incorrect. Ding dong, y'all are wrong. And Shattered Memories was just a very weird experiment that was a failure, but I do applaud them for trying something weird.
I think,
as much as it sort of flopped.
I don't think. I think at the time, people were either critics were either into it or couldn't get past the running away sections and were mad.
Fair. The running sections were miserable. But no, I think again, just trying to looking at them as games rather than as associated with Silent Hill. They're fine. It's hard to do that with Origins just because it is so intrinsically tied to Silent Hill, just by nature.
Yeah.
But it was playable. The degradation system for the weapons was bizarre.
Yeah, it just
and
gave
you
you
got
so
humped a
many
lot,
weapons
but-
to make up for that.
But Silent Hill, Shattered Memories, like I said, I don't think they did good with it. I don't think it was necessarily a success in the experiment that they tried, but they did experiment. And I appreciate when devs try to do something that's a little different.
Had ideas and tried to do them.
Yeah.
You cannot really say of Homecoming.
No, Homecoming definitely went safe route, but then did that really badly as well.
I am kind of intrigued by Downpour. I'm feeling excited for that one, kind of, even though some of Homecoming was a slog.
Yeah, I don't remember Downpour being as miserable to play as Homecoming. Homecoming, up until now, and through now as well, but even before this, I remember ranking Homecoming as worse than Downpour. I hated Downpour.
Yeah.
But I was also, I had just graduated. No, I had graduated the year before, was really excited to play it with Emmy, and then we got in, and I think I was more of a edgy teen who was I'm gonna have really, out there opinions about things, and if this doesn't hold to my opinion, it's bad garbage. So, maybe now that I am a decade older, my opinion will be slightly different. I don't think I will be ranking it amongst the, the original four, but...
I'm not expecting it to be good, but I'm expecting it to be weird in interesting ways that'll...
I think the only thing from off the top of my memory, and again, this is not a solid opinion, because it's a decade old. I played the game once. It's been a while. I think I at least vocalized the fact that I appreciated that they didn't bring Pyramid Head in. They had a Pyramid Head character, but it was not Pyramid Head. And I was hey, that's fine. I mean, the Punisher archetype kind of needs to be here for these kinds of things, but it doesn't have to be my boy. So yeah.
All I've seen of it is I watched the Game Grumps playthrough. So not Game Grumps, the Super Best Friends playthrough.
Oh, okay.
I threw the axe in the hole.
Yeah, my most clear memory of it is the one cop just calling the main character Cupcake all the time. And I did that to Emmy for a while just to annoy them, and she fucking hated it.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I am more excited about Downpour than I was about Homecoming, so that's great.
It's gonna
Sometimes
be a minute
you have to go real low.
Because you're up next with
I am up
Skrunkle
next.
3.
Gotta get Skrunkle 3 out here.
I'm not worried about Skrunkle 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been overshadowed by Skrunkle 2.
Yeah.
I don't think, from what I remember, of just like general like research and what little I played of it, it wasn't as bad because I never finished Skrunkle 3. I think I might have gotten like an hour, maybe 2 in, and then stopped playing for whatever reason. For the usual, like, oh, I'm gonna go do something else, and then I just never came back to it.
That's fine.
It's we'll see how far we get into it, just because like we might not finish that one, just given that we did do actual 3 Silent Hill 3 not too long ago.
If it's too normal, then there
Yeah,
won't be a reason to finish it.
And yeah, I don't think the code for it was as fucked. In technical terms, absolutely fucked as 2 was when they were making it. So we'll see how it goes. If it's too normal, we'll probably just stop because we'll just be like, hey, it's basically the same as
through 3 again, which is fine. You can do that if you want.
Maybe, I don't know. Because we just did it. It's one of those like, no, I'm good. I've got the 3 bugs settled, well handled. But I'm also willing to give Skrunkle 3 a chance. But yeah, we'll have Skrunkle 3. In that time between now and whenever it is we finish that one, I'll try and find a mobile emulator that actually works with my streaming software. And we'll see if that works. Honestly, like I could probably do it with BlueStacks, since it's a Java game and not something that's in theory 60 frames per second, like Ascension was supposed to be. It's fine because even natively it wasn't that at all.
Most of the time it was 1 frame that had frozen and wasn't working.
Yeah. We're not gonna talk about Ascension though. We've talked about that.
We're not doing anything with Ascension.
No, there's nothing to do with Ascension. It's not a game. But yeah, that's we'll be doing Skrunkle 3 next time. Hold on. Probably tomorrow.
Yeah,
Got stuck in a stutter. But we'll see. It's my dad's birthday tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
I don't know if he is going to be here. If he is, then we might be a little busy. If not, then we'll do some Skrunkle. Gooey, if you are interested, no pressure. I do have a Discord where I announce all of my streams. And we also chat about shit and do stuff sometimes. You're welcome to join if you want. Otherwise, obviously, Twitch will send out a notification when I go live. We're very all over the place about times, but I usually stream on Fridays through Sundays, Monday, Wednesday. Yeah. But yeah, that's there if you would like to join. Obviously, like I said, no pressure, but it was a delight having you here. Oh, perfect. Welcome. Also, if anyone is interested, obviously, I've been streaming with Fruity. And they stream on their channel, which I have a timer here, but it hasn't gone off. Oh, because I'm a goober who didn't set it up. So I'll just copy paste that. Thought I had everything. But if you wanna, Fruity does streaming stuff sometimes and posts on YouTube and all that good stuff. You can follow them there too.
Mostly play Gex 3.
Yeah, but it's been a great time. But I think that's it. Do you have anything else you wanna say?
I think I'm good.
Right.
I think we got there.
It was a shorter stream than normal, but that's just because we were we to get through Homecoming.
I'm glad I didn't try and power through last time, to be honest, because I was just in a really bad mood. So
Yeah,
You know,
no,
this
that's-
were a lot more fun. Plus, like all the story was like loaded right at the back there, so it was
Mhm.
more fun. This was the best part of the game that we did now.
Well, it's the bit that had things you could talk about. General, you, not you specifically. I
have
talked
to
to you.
describe my strategies for pouring juice.
Yeah. It was a rough middle bit with Homecoming, just in general. Like all of the like nonsense we were both dealing with at the time aside, it was there. Okay, cool. Thanks, Bot. Sorry. Bot is.
It
decided
didn't
to
help
work
that
now.
we were playing the worst one in the
Yeah,
series
it just
while we
it
were both
was-
having a really bad day.
It was just some rough timing all around, but that's okay. We're here, we've done it. Congrats, Fruity, you've gotten through the worst game. The worst game. So
The worst game.
congrats. Let's see. We are gonna do a raid. Emmy and Flowers are currently streaming some Lethal Company.
Are you gonna also be in the Lethal Company?
I might. I don't know. There was no direct invitation this time, but they're cool with me jumping in at any point at any time as well. I just haven't considered it because I am very sleepy today. Listen.
The Lethal Company will be there tomorrow. It's fine.
It's true. I have been playing Minecraft all morning.
I did see before we went that you'd been playing Minecraft for the previous 6 hours.
It wasn't actually 6 hours, I promise. I thought I had like exited out of the server that I was in, and I thought that closed Minecraft down entirely. And I got up and like went to the store, made some dinner, ate with my dad, and then I came back to like set up all the stream stuff. And I like looked down at my taskbar and it's like, hey, Minecraft is still open. I was like, oh, okay. So that's cool and fun. No, I might just do more of that this evening and just take it easy because my upstairs neighbors have officially moved out. They are gone now. It's been so quiet today. Last night as well, like I managed to actually get some real sleep. And because of that, I am just like, I'm absolutely tuckered out today. But because I've rested, you know how it goes. But it's oh my god, it's so nice. But yeah, we're gonna, because we raided Emmy last time, we're gonna raid Flowers this time. You should follow both of them. They are both delightful human beings.
Good goobers.
Yeah, we love the goobers here. But until next time, we'll see y'all around.
See ya.